All right, so jumping back to the slides, I just wanted to touch on, I think, two more pieces related to the dashboard itself, and we'll talk, I think, as a bigger group, or as we step back to the bigger topics, we'll talk a little bit about next steps and where this might be going. But wanted to just talk briefly about, okay, so how do we get access to the dashboard? So how do we use the dashboard? How do we install it in our own countries? How do we start using it and playing around with it? The way that it's being built is what's called a DHIS2 metadata package. Some folks may be already familiar with this. I know there's some folks on the call who have been working with metadata packages already in DHIS2. For others, this may be new. But essentially what this means is there will be an installation package or a document. It's called a JSON file. It's an installation file that all of the data entry, all of the dashboards, everything that we just walked through on the dashboard platform is the code for that is pre-written and ready to go in this JSON file. And there's a quick one click of a button import of that JSON file into your existing DHIS2 platforms that will allow you to then have all of the data entry and the dashboards installed sort of with the click of a button on your DHIS2 systems. And so there's a native DHIS2 import-export app to install the package. You can customize, before installing the package, the organizational units. That was what I was mentioning, are the geographic units of your country. So if you want regions and districts included, you can customize that. And then you just import the file, and then it's ready to go. The data entry and the visuals are ready to go on your system. You can also, if you wanted to do more customization to the package itself, you can update some of the indicator or the element names. You can map existing elements from your own DHIS2 instance. So there may be some sex or age disaggregations that you would like to use that already exist on your DHIS2 system. So you can do some customization to the metadata package to match some of those. But once you've done that, you just take this installation file, navigate to the installation piece of DHIS2, and then you're ready to go. Once you've clicked that, you're ready to go. A quick demo of that. So we're not going to go through the whole process, but the import-export application is here. Only people who have in their own countries access to sort of administrative privileges within DHIS2 probably will have access to this. But you're able to click this button, and then you can see a metadata import here. And so you're just able to import data directly onto your DHIS2 instance, and that will create automatically all of the data entry and dashboard visuals that we were just looking at. So just wanted to quickly touch on that. There's a lot more technical documentation available on the PCF website. So if folks are interested to learn more, if folks want to go through the process of accessing this metadata file, installing it on their own systems, that documentation is available on the website. I would encourage people to go there. Again, we'll put the URL up at the end of the webinar, and you can navigate there. So I think the last piece we want to touch on is just sort of the overall data analytics blueprint, kind of what we're thinking about and what we've talked with partners and others about what's most useful, I think, here. So this is sort of the schematic, we'll say, of the existing system that we just walked through. As we mentioned, there's existing country DHIS2 systems. There may be other country systems. And these sort of three steps are the data entry form. We didn't see the database per se, but the database that sits once you've entered the data, and then the PCF data visuals as part of that DHIS2 system that we just talked about. So that's all sort of packaged up in that metadata package that we just talked through, and is available for folks as part of that metadata package. There are some places where WHO, some of you who are on the call right now have already built a metadata package with a number of indicators as part of that package. Where it was applicable, we tried to map as many of those indicators to the PCF indicators as well. And so if countries are already using that DHIS2 metadata package that WHO has created. There should be some pre-population that's possible between that WHO metadata package and the PCF metadata package, so that there doesn't need to be duplication of efforts. It can sort of be fully integrated as part of that process. And then I think looking forward, we know, and yeah, that's kind of just what I was mentioning before, the DHIS2 metadata package all wrapped up together and then can be installed on existing DHIS2 systems. As we look forward, we know that there are a whole bunch of other tools that are being developed, and these are just some examples. This is by no means comprehensive or intended to capture all of the data sources and data tools that are out there. But I think what we're hoping is that there's an ability for some of those to potentially connect to this metadata package in the future. If there's easy export from some of those, there could potentially be easy import into the metadata package. I think this top box is very much ripe for discussion and exploration and some more experimentation as well. But just kind of wanted to highlight that there's ideally an opportunity to pull in some data from existing data warehouses that we know partners are working on or building or have already built, and would make it much easier for countries to integrate that data right directly into the PCF. So that's kind of where this fits in a broader blueprint for the PCF and a broader blueprint for the PCF system, we'll say, data system. And I think there's probably a lot of opportunities for further discussion and further ideation down the road on a lot of these pieces. So I think with that, we will wrap up on the PCF dashboard, and I'll hand it back to the rest of the team to take us into the next part of our session.